It's a comprehensive case study where we'll be finding cost of preference shares, cost of equity, then growth model, no growth model. Then we'll also be taking into consideration like growth rate. Okay, so we have 3 to 4 scenarios. Let's see one by one. The first one is we have 10-year 14% preference shares of rupees 100, redeemable at a premium of 5%, and flotation cost is 5%, dividend tax is 10%. We have to find out what is the cost of preference shares. Okay, so let me just select it. The first one is we have to find out cost of preference shares. Let me select my pen. Yeah. So how do we find out the cost of preference shares? What is the formula we have? We know cost of preference shares KP is nothing but PD. If there are any dividend distribution taxes, then we have to say dividend distribution taxes. Okay, then RV minus NP divided by N whole divided by RV plus NP by 2. Now in this problem, if you look at it, we have life as 10 years, cost is 14%, redeemable at a premium of 5%, then flotation cost is 5%, dividend tax is 10%. So we have almost presence of each and every element. So what is the cost per, what is the value per share? It is 100. So 100 into 14%, 14 is going to be the preference dividend, right? So let's capture that. So here if I put it, KP is equal to 100 into 14%, it is going to be 14. But there is a dividend distribution tax. What is the dividend distribution tax? It is 10%. So let's capture that. So it is 1 plus 10% can be written as 0.10 plus redemption value. It is redeemable at a premium, right? It is redeemable at a premium of 5%. So 100 will be redeemed at 105 minus net profits. There is a flotation cost. So what is the flotation cost? Flotation cost is 5%. So what is received is 100 minus 5, that is only 95. And divided by how many years? What is the life? Life is 10 years. N is equal to 10. So divided by 10 whole divided by RV plus NP by 2. RV is 105 plus NP is 95 divided by 2. So if we do this calculation will take us to 16.40%. So here cost of preference shares KP is equal to 16.4%. Okay, so this is question number 1. We'll move on to question 2. We have to find out cost of equity, where equity share of rupees 50, which is paying a dividend of rupees 6 per share, which is expected to continue indefinitely. So this is the market price, which is 50, and this is the dividend D0, as well as it is going to be D1 because which is expected to continue indefinitely. So in this case, finding the cost of equity is very simple. Question 2, cost of equity KE is equal to D1 divided by P0 assuming no growth. So this is a no growth model. So what is the D1 here? I have D1 with me. It is 6 divided by P0 50. So eventually multiply by 100 to make it as percentage. And it says it is 12%. So this is a case where you are finding the cost of equity on no growth model. Going back to the question. So question 1 and 2 over. Question 3. Find out the cost of above equity share if dividends are expected to grow at the rate of 5%. So what we had solved in question 2 is dividends are expected to continue indefinitely, but if they are expected to grow, what is going to be the scenario? Let's see. So that's we'll solve as question 3. If dividends are expected to grow, then we'll say KE is equal to D1 divided by P0 plus G. Then we'll define D1. D1 is equal to D0 multiplied by 1 plus G. So what is D0? We know D0 is 6 multiplied by 1 plus G. G is 5%. So it is 0.05. So 6 multiplied by 1 plus 0.05. Okay, it's going to be 6.3. So we get D1 is equal to 6.30. So this is one critical information which will come back here. KE is equal to D1, which is 6.30, divided by P naught, which is 50, plus G. What is G? G is growth rate, which is 0.05. So if I take my calculation further like this, I'll be getting 17.60%. Okay, so KE is 17.60%. So we have answered question 3. Moving on to question 4. Yeah, this is little important. An equity share of a company is selling at 120 per share. The EPS is rupees 20, of which 50% is paid in dividends. The shareholders expect the company to earn a constant after-tax rate of 10% on its investment of retained earnings. So this is a case where we are supposed to find out the cost of equity, where we are given the information that market price is 120, but we are also given information about their earnings per share, and they also say 50% is distributed as dividend, and the company is retaining something, and that will give a return of 10%. Now, which method we have to adopt here? Based on the available information, we have to adopt cost of equity dividend growth model. It means we have to find out cost of equity using the formula KE is D1 by P0 plus G. Now, how we will find out D1? It is simple. D1 is nothing but whatever, see, this is the EPS that is expected, of which 50% will be paid as dividends. Okay, so 20 into 50%. So we can say dividend is 10. Let me just cross check it. We can say dividend as 10. Okay, so I have no issue in that. But what about growth? How do I find out growth? And market price, of course, it is available. P0 is equal to 120. So in this background, how we will find out what is the cost of equities? Let's see how it goes. So let me give the formula. KE is equal to D1 divided by P0 plus G. So we know how to find out D1. D1 is nothing but EPS multiplied by 50%. We know EPS is 20 multiplied by 50%. So in that way we get D1 is equal to 10. So that is taken care. Now the question is, how do we find out G? G represents growth rate. Growth rate, by formula it is B multiplied by R. So what is B? B is nothing but retention ratio. B is retention ratio. Is it possible to find out retention ratio? Yes, it is possible. From EPS, if we can subtract dividend payout ratio, from EPS if we can subtract dividend payout ratio, we get to know what is retention ratio. But how to find out the dividend payout ratio? It is very simple. Dividend payout ratio is nothing but dividend per share divided by earnings per share. We know what is dividend per share, which is 10. We know what is earnings per share, it is 20. So 10 divided by 20, it is 0.50. So this is the dividend payout ratio. Fine. Now our objective is finding out the retention ratio. So from this earnings, if we subtract dividend payout ratio, what we are going to get is retention ratio. So I am going to equate this EPS as 1. Okay. So from 1, if I subtract dividend payout ratio of 0.50, what I have is remaining 0.50, which is nothing but retention ratio. So in short, it is going to be called as B. Okay. So my retention ratio is B. And what about R? R is nothing but return on investment, which is 10%. So my growth rate is going to be simple, which is B multiplied by R. It is 0.5 into 0.1. Okay, it is 0.50 multiplied by 0.10. So how much we get? 0.50 multiplied by 0.10, we get 0.05. So this is nothing but 5%. So this is the growth rate. We can say growth rate is 5%. Now we'll come and apply it here. KE is equal to D1. We know D1. So let me put it here. KE is equal to D1, which is 10. divided by P naught. What is the P naught? We have it as 120. Okay, plus growth rate of 5%, which has to be written as 0.05. So if I calculate that now, I get 13.33%. So this is going to be the cost of equity, where we have derived what is the growth rate by creating a relationship between the retention ratio and return on investment. That is G is equal to B multiplied by R.